Yeah, I'm Barry. I'm Melvin Fallon's dad, and I drove the truck down with Bob that held all the inflatable stuff in the trailer. And well, one thing that really stood out to me on the trip was we went down with a group of teenage girls, primarily from Sick Moose. That's who we were kind of in charge of, and being a father of two teenage girls, I'm happy to say that we really put them to work. They moved a lot of debris, bricks, trees, everything, and during the whole time there, 10 days, we didn't get an eye roll or a look at the sky or any mumbling under anyone's breath. Everyone worked really hard, and that was really refreshing, because in this day and age when everyone's so tied to their PlayStations and their iPods and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff got kind of put aside, and the kids did some good old-fashioned work, and they were all sweating and dirty, and they all did very well. It's kind of funny to hear them talk about Watts was their favorite part of the trip, and that was the sketchiest place we probably went. And although they had fun, I'll be honest with you, every time I heard a vehicle slow down, I was looking over my shoulder, because you don't know with all the gangs and stuff in the area, you don't know what's going to happen. And the people in that area were a little more, it seemed like they're a little more frustrated than some of the other areas, a little more angry. When they were happy, but that seemed to change pretty fast sometimes. But Sam and Arm and Sick Moose kids, they all went around, they were carrying kids around, they got to know their names, they were giving hugs when we were leaving, and our group really touched a lot of people there, you could tell. And being one of the bus drivers, we went to the store to get some water for some folks, and the store in that area, everything's bulletproof, and it's all metal mesh in the stores, and you put all your products down on a little round rotisserie, and you put your money in there, and then they rotate it, and there's no contact at all between you and the cashier. You couldn't stick anything in there. They scan all your stuff, and they put your change on the thing, and they rotate it back. So we were truly in a real rough area there. Now, one of the guys that lives there told us, if you were mowing your lawn and you went in for a glass of water, your lawnmower would not be there when you came back out. And that's just the way it is there. And the union mission that we worked at, I was serving food with a variety of different guys, and one guy in particular I kind of took my break with, and he was just referred to as number one. And he had teardrop tattooed on his face for the lives he had taken in earlier parts of his life. And he told me he came from the Philippines in 1975 when he was 10 years old. And he said, the Lord brought me to America. And he's almost 50 now, 48 or something. He was saying he still doesn't know why he brought him here, but he said he's still waiting. And when he heard we were from Canada, he asked, so Toronto? That's the only place in Canada he knew. And I said, well, Toronto's over by Detroit and Buffalo and those areas. We're more over above Seattle kind of thing. And he didn't even know where Detroit was, even though he lives in the United States. So it kind of gave me an indication what kind of childhood he had, maybe not a lot of time in school. And he basically admitted he spent most of his life in prisons. And he's never owned a vehicle, never driven a vehicle, never had a wife, all that stuff. And he said that in this mission, it's a one-year program, he's halfway through. And he was telling me how he said he's still waiting to find out what God has in store for him. He said, I'm being patient, I know he has a plan. And he maintained, he said he didn't choose God, but God chose him. And he said, I don't know if I got to live another 50 years to find out what I'm here for, but he said, if that's the plan, then that's the plan. And just the faith that some of those people had down there, they haven't had a good hand play as far as life goes, but it's their faith that keeps them going. I think it was kind of remarkable. And just before we, halfway through our service there at the mission, these two young girls, probably 20 years old, they walked in, and they're blonde-haired, blue-eyed. You'd think they'd be cheerleaders from UCLA or something. And I thought they were volunteering as part of a course or something they were maybe taking in college. And turns out they were part of the program too. And you would never think that looking at them. It just kind of shows you how there's no stereotyping when it comes to homelessness or misfortune or bad luck. It's just people deal with it every day, and everyone in there is so positive. Yet they're on Skid Row. They're working at a kitchen Skid Row. Yet they still find the strength to get up every day, and they're smiling, they're dancing, they're singing old Motown tunes in the back and all that kind of stuff. And it was really quite remarkable. So I took a lot of things from the trip, but yeah, it was life changing. I'm proud to be part of it. Everyone did so well. We went to the lumber yard. Me and Bob got sent to get all the supplies for our projects. So we did quite a few projects there. And I was kind of surprised that just the two of us got sent, because I knew what kind of projects we had lined up. And if you've ever been to Home Depot, you can get those big orange carts, the ones you can really pile stuff on. And the time we were done, we had 5 of those heaped up as high as you could have. We had bags of cement and stuff. And the Home Depot we went to was in more of a Mexican area. And it's Los Angeles, it's hot, so every door is open and that place is busy. So usually you go in those stores and it's kind of cool in there, it's all cement. And I got Bob going on some stuff, and I got a cart going to come back, and he's loading up the fence boards, and we got them, they're already pre-stained and they're kind of green and they're quite heavy. And Bob grabs a handful and they're like a little heavier than maybe he thought they were going to be, so he's got 5 of them in there. And he struggles with them, lays them down, and says, "How many do we need?" I said, "Well, 220. So I continued on, loaded my cart, and I came back. I'm just dripping with sweat, my shirt is soaked, he's dripping with sweat, his shirt soaked. We got 2 carts loaded, and we still got like basically 3 to go. We had a great time though, and my hat's off to Kim and Brianna to keep that many people organized and fed and keep track of everybody, and no problems at any borders or any of the events we went to. Everything went off great. And Bob, my co-pilot there, we made it back safe and sound both ways there. We had some adventures, but we made it. And Josh, he was on the site. He was a rock star, but those jobs would not have gotten done if it was for Josh. He didn't matter retaining walls, fences, concrete. He was in there leading the charge. So those guys deserve a lot of credit. I was just kind of along for the ride, and we had pretty good leadership there.